to the Steph Said It podcast. I am your host, Stephen B, and I am here every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. This is the space, my place, my little piece of the world where I get to express how I feel about stuff going on. And the stuff that I got going on is the letters that you all submit. So let me back up. Good evening to everyone who has joined on the show live. And then good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone who is watching it on the playback. Once again, thank you all so much for joining me on the show tonight. This is a very, 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 very special show because I have a special guest that we're going to be bringing into the room here in just a moment. But just to kind of set the stage for what's going on, once again, I am Stephen B. I am the host of the Steph Said It podcast. And like Shannon Sharp says on Club Shay Shay, he says he is the proprietor of Club Shay Shay, and I am the proprietor of Steph Said It. This is my spot, my place where I get to express how I feel about the stuff that y'all got on y'all mind. The basis of the show is you write letters, you tell me what you want me to talk about, and like I say in my tagline, if you ask me, I'll tell you. Now, on tonight, I have a very, very, very special guest who's going to be joining me on the show. Now, for those of you who've been following the show since day one, thank you all so much for being consistent with me. And for those of you who are joining for the first time, welcome. Hopefully I'll see y'all again next week. The first time I did the show, I had a special guest on. I had my mom on, but mom called in. This is the first time that I have a guest coming in on camera with me. Ladies and gentlemen, I have in the room with me tonight a very, very special friend. Our relationship goes back, gosh, plus 20 years. And I can say this man has been an encourager to me. This man has been a friend to me in the darkest, ugliest times of my life. He has encouraged me to do things that I never thought I could do. He has been a mentor to me. He has challenged me. He has coached me. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please allow me to bring into the room my friend, the Maximus Wright.
Thank you for having me, Stephen Brandon.
You know, we got to let the people applaud you, you know. Standing ovation in the room right now. Maximus, or as I like to call you, Maximilian.
Man, Stefan.
Man, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Good. Glad to be on your show, man. You know, congratulations. You know, I remember when we were talking about this and you've done it, you know, so, you know, it's always something to celebrate, you know, when we see our dreams coming to fruition.
Absolutely. So something that I heard you say years ago, and it stayed with me. It's you say, start where you are, use what you got, and finish what you start. Yeah. And so that has just kind of been my process, my mantra is I got to start somewhere. I'll always find an excuse not to do it, but I finally found my why. And so we out here now. Man, listen, I know who you are. I know about you, but please take a moment, introduce yourself to my audience. Tell the people who you are.
Hey, I'm Maximus Wright, you know, kid from Yazoo City, a graduate of Tougaloo College, and I'm a filmmaker. I've been doing filmmaking since 2015. Have done some wonderful things, have seen some wonderful things happen. We currently got an initiative to make 100 filmmakers in the next 7 years. We founded the Jackson Film Festival, and currently we are creating the division of film for Russ College. So just a guy who had a dream and listened and obeyed that still small voice, and I'm living the fairy tale every day.
Man, that's wonderful. That's good to hear. I'm excited about it. So you mentioned filmmaking, and I am privileged to say that I have worked on, I'm going to say 87% of the projects that you have that you put out there. I've had the opportunity to work with you. Um, I remember when you first told me that you were writing a movie.
Yeah,
You that I'm writing a movie, and I'm like, really?
yeah, yeah.
You're right. As a matter of fact, to be more accurate, to be more accurate, you told me you was writing a movie, and I said,
Yeah, you and the rest of my family. But my family didn't have crickets. They had plenty to say. It was like, you need a real job.
right, and I get it, but I was honored that I had a chance to walk that process with you.
Uh,
I had a chance to walk that process, and I remember when we were sitting in one of the vehicles. We were sitting in somebody's car, somebody's truck, somebody's something, and you started reading the script. And from that first read, I was hooked. From the first read, I was hooked. To be more specific, the movie we're talking about is the movie Soul Damage.
mhm.
And when you started writing and you started unfolding it, and then you got to a stopping point, and I'm like, what's where the rest of it? What's next? And so you had me there. And so again, I'm honored that I had the opportunity to be a part of Soul Damage process. And then we went from Soul Damage the movie to Soul Damage the book to Soul Damage the stage play,
Yeah,
back to Soul Damage the movie.
yeah.
And then from there we went to My Name is Lola. And yeah, that was amazing. And then from My Name is Lola, you wrote, and let me say this, and this is one of the things that I want to say, and we're gonna get on into the topic, and we're gonna talk. People who know me, y'all know I don't really like to read. I would rather go to the movies and watch it on screen, or I would rather uh, just tell me about it. Hands down, Maximus Wright is my favorite author. I have read, he has written to completion 3 books to completion that I'm aware of. Now, if you wrote another one, we're gonna talk about that off screen because I will don't 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 make me don't make me show up on set. Okay, but I know three books that he has written. He has written Soul Damage. He's written My Name is Lola, and he has written the book called Prophet. Of the 3 books, I am honored to say that I had the opportunity to work very closely with him on getting those books produced and getting those books prepared for mass production. And I have read all 3 books multiple times, not for the purpose of editing. It was hard to edit the books because I found myself getting lost in the pages. And so, if you have not had the opportunity to do so, please take a moment and go to Amazon. The books are available. Once again, the books are Soul Damage, My Name is Lola, and Prophet. Now, of the 3, if you need to read them in a specific order, you know, Soul Damage is the first book. My Name is Lola is the prequel. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you
The
did.
Soul Damage. And then you have my favorite book, hands down, Prophet. It's some good reading now, boy. I'm telling you, it's some good reading.
Hey man,
Uh-oh.
people wanna hear all that, man. That's boring. That's probably
Now, listen, this is my show, okay? I can talk about it if I want to. But listen, so we hadn't even gotten into we hadn't really gotten into the conversation yet, but there's already a question on the screen for you.
really.
Listen, I'm glad to have you on my show because now people don't see, people don't call to see, people don't watch me. But when they know you on the show, they tune in. So
Man,
listen, here we go. So I'm put the comment on the screen. This is the question. Question is, what was your very first screenplay project, and how did you get the courage to move forward and say, I can do this?
It is really cool how you did that. How you put that display up and the picture of the person, all that. That is, I like that. That's
Hey
hot.
man, listen, we can talk about that off screen. We can, hey, this, this, I do this. I do this part.
So, but to answer the question, Soul Damage was my very first screenplay. Um, and how did I get the courage to move forward? Um, I did it with my knees shaking. I was terrified every step of the way, and Stefan can attest to this. I think people think that I think they're waiting for that opportunity where there's no fear, and that moment doesn't come. And what Stefan didn't realize was those moments where I was reading the script to him, I was looking for any type of validation of someone saying, hey, that makes sense. Um, you got to do it scared if you want it done. I was terrified through the whole process. The whole process of writing, casting, directing, producing, premiering. There was no step that there was not some element of fear there because I had never done it before. I didn't even have anyone that I could go talk to and say, how is this done? I wish there was a me for me when I was doing this. But that fear is not going anywhere. And what you don't know is that fear is one of the best things that could be happening to you right now. Because that fear is the script is not the most important thing. Who you become as a result of writing the script is the most important thing. The script is just a tool to kind of tear back all the lies that you believe about yourself so you can get to the truth. So, because really what that fear is selfishness. And I didn't believe that too when that first happened to me. I didn't think it was selfishness because I was so concerned about what everybody else thought. I was so concerned about how everyone was going to view me. All I could think about was me. And it took God shaming me, saying, you're going to leave people's life in the balance because you're concerned about how they're going to look at you. And if you're going to be that selfish, then why give you this gift in the first place?
Okay, now I'm gonna stop you right there because we can't give it all to him for free now. we can't give it all to him for free.
She said she wouldn't even know how she can move on. I'm trying to help her move on.
And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna help her know how to move on. Which brings us to our next topic. The Jackson Film Festival.
Yeah.
Come on, talk about it. Tell us about what we're doing this year for the Jackson Film Festival. Let the people know how they can be a part and everything that's involved with that.
Jackson Film Festival. This is our 4th in-person year. We're literally a international festival. Where'd you go, man? I don't see.
I'm right here.
Okay. I thought I lost
you. Time to talk. I ain't going nowhere.
So it's truly an international festival now. We got people coming from all over the world in person, coming to Mississippi for the first time. This year, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Good Times and commemorating the legacy of Norman Lear. Bernadette Stennis will be in attendance at the festival. For those who don't know her real name, that is Thelma. We're very, very, very excited about that. Also, what is new this year is the Motion Picture Association is an official sponsor of the Jackson Film Festival. And even as we speak, we have another national company that we're meeting with on Friday that may be a sponsor. And it's just humbling, to be something that was an idea that Candace Love Jackson was saying we need to do this. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. And now, and once we did it the first year, I'm like, I'd never do this again. For this to be our 4th year and for it to be reaching the places that it's reaching and it's attracting the type of people who are with it. And to have all these Hollywood execs coming to the festival looking for talent, it's a very humbling thing. And we're very excited and humbled at the same time that we get a chance to make a platform for other filmmakers. Like I said, doing the things that was not available for me. Giving those opportunities for the young and the young at heart, because we also have a Soar Over 50 award that has been sponsored by AARP that is given to the people like me who was waiting to the second half of their life to believe in their dreams and go for it. So that is a very special award. And I do encourage, if you have an idea, a script, like the young lady was saying, please submit this script. You still got time. And go for it, because the only thing you got on the other side of not going for it is regret.
Sounds good. And let the people know when the film festival is.
The festival is the last week in July. It's the 21st, July 21st through the 26th. And it culminates with our Black Tie Awards Gala, which will be at the two museums this year.
And I am excited about that.
Me too.
Am I gonna be an announcer this year?
Yeah. Why would you not be?
Well, we'll talk about that off camera.
Okay.
And so here we go. All of the information, you can actually pull the information here. You can go to Eventbrite. You can also follow the film festival on Facebook at Jackson Film Festival, correct?
Jackson Film Festival.
And the website,
is
www.
jxnfilmfestival.com.
Very good. And so one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show, because for me personally, you've been a huge supporter. You've been, every time the irony is whenever you would have this crazy idea of something that you wanted to do, you would always come to me and say, "Hey, I believe you can do this." And I'm like, "Man, I can't do that." And then I do it. I'm
Right.
like, "Oh, well,
Yeah.
I guess I could." And so I just wanted to have you on the show. Here we go. Good information. Thank you so much, Esther, for putting this out here so I can help to keep it going. But one of the other reasons that I wanted to have you on the show, beyond what you've done professionally and what you've done, all the other things that we've done, you've always been a friend. You have always been a friend.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to have one of our conversations.
Okay.
We're going to talk. We did all the official stuff. We got all the professional stuff out the way, and we did all of that. That was great. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Now we get to the meat and potatoes of Steph Said It podcast.
Gotcha.
So about 2 weeks ago, there was this huge uproar with Ty Tribbett. Ty Tribbett made a statement. He said, well, to clear things up, he's misquoted in what he said. Okay. But everyone has been saying that Ty Tribbett said the church is whack. He got on the Breakfast Club and he said, now, to be specific in what he said, excuse me, he said, I think the institution of church is whack. I think how churches ran is whack. I think the religious system and structure is whack. So he never actually said the church is whack or the church at large is whack. Now, I have my thoughts about that, but I want you to chime in first. We're going to have, and this is just a me and you conversation. Everybody else just get to listen. This is a me and you conversation. So tell me, what do you think? And I'm not asking what you think about the church, unless it goes that way. I think it was my second episode. I actually did an episode that we talked about church hurt and how to navigate and how to manage church hurt. If it goes that direction, hey, I'm all for organic conversation. But what are your thoughts about Ty Tribbett, a national recording artist, gospel recording artist, and pastor, who goes on to the Breakfast Club and says the system of the church is whack?
Oh, so you want this to be the Cat Williams of podcasts today? That's what you want. That's what we doing here.
I mean, listen, it worked for Shannon.
It was working for Shannon.
He broke the internet.
I didn't see it. I didn't see the interview. I don't even know if I saw a clip, but I do recall, just seeing some of the comments of some of the people that I respect in ministry. saying things. And I think you and I we talked briefly about it. And, you know, of course, I'm always thinking differently, you know. So he basically said how the church is run, or how the church is institutionally, is whack.
Right.
Coming from where I come from,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't know what whack mean to the church. You know, so if someone say I'm whack, I'll laugh at that, because, you know, whack don't have the same meaning to me. You know, it's, you know, so I don't know if, you know, I'm just come from hard. I just get better insults than that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I just get harder insults that just make me resistant to words like whack, because whack kind of sound weak to me.
Right.
I can just really think of a whole lot of things that people could say to me that would definitely have more sting than whack. So I don't quite know what whack meant to everybody, but let's flip the situation and say, how about if he got on television and said, the way black filmmaking is done and how it ran is whack?
Okay.
Let's say he got on and he said, black filmmakers are whack and how they put films together is whack. And that's something that I do, and that's something that I take personally.
Right.
But the question is it true? That's the first question we got to ask ourselves. Is it true? Is there any truth to what he said? And does that truth apply to me? Does that truth apply to my church or play to my film production? Is that true about me? Because when somebody lies, that don't bother me, because it's not the truth. So my question is it the truth?
Show me the lie.
I'm asking a question, because I didn't have a chance to talk to whomever got offended by it. But I know when people say untruths about me, you know, I'm like, oh man, why they lying on me? But the question is it true? Is it true? Or is it shameful? Because he said it. And if he said it and it's not true, then take him to task. Take him to task.
Mm-hmm.
But the first question we got to ask ourselves, is there any truth to it?
So basically, to sum up what you're saying, and this kind of goes to the conversation we touched on a little bit before, are we mad at what he said, or are we mad that he said it?
I don't know.
In essence, because and the interesting thing is, I've heard so many conversations and so many people talk about what he said, and you know, the reality is, the church does have flaws, as does any industry. But you know, my position, now this is my position. My position was, why go on to the Breakfast Club and say it? Because now, to answer your question, my answer to your question is, with what he said, is the way church run and the systems of the church and all of that, is it whack? I wholeheartedly agree. But that's not the church at large. But I have had some church experiences where I was mishandled, I was mistreated, I was devalued, I was taken advantage of. And in that regard, with the church being supposed to be a safe space, and these things happen, then yeah, that experience was whack. That didn't take me out of church altogether, not forever. But you know, we've all had, I mean, if we just gonna be honest, we've all had some whack church experiences. And so, you know, my position was, don't go into a place where we have the, how do I want to say this? Don't go into an atmosphere or a place where we have the opportunity to maybe win souls and talk about me, or don't highlight the negative points to people looking for negative points. if you're going to highlight the negative points, highlight those negative points to the people who can really take what you're saying and not use it against me. I guess that's what I'm saying.
So the question was, why do it on the Breakfast Club, right?
Right.
So if he had done it on Step Said, will we still be talking about it right now?
Valid question.
I mean, I just got questions. So, all right. This is a personal situation I've been in because I'm building stuff and doing things like this. A lot of times we got to vet the people who become and be a part of it, right?
Right.
And a lot of times, you know, I'm in a situation I don't want to mess with nobody bad. You know, I don't want to, stop somebody from getting where they need to be. You know, I'm definitely not that. But this is something that Tania Stewart told me. This is something that the people closest to me said. They say, but if you know something is wrong and you know the person is wrong and you don't say anything and you allow the innocent people to get hurt because folk haven't straightened up or done what they're supposed to do, then that blood's on your hand. So I understand that we feel like, and I'm a church kid, I grew up in the church. I feel like this need that we need to protect the image of the church, or we have this need that we need to protect Jesus in some sense. But there's no scripture that supports that.
Right.
The truth stands all by itself. The truth don't need no help.
Right.
So what are we really protecting? Because if it doesn't pertain to you, because it's really an unfair question. It's really a blanket statement that's really unfair because there's so many churches and there's so many that are doing good and there's so many that's doing bad. But if we want to stop and start thinking about the ones that really been hurting people, and I'm talking about hurting people, scarring them for life,
right?
Who do we hold them accountable? And behind trying to protect Jesus,
right?
And I don't see people normally having. They want to have that conversation in private, and I get it. But this is the question that I ask: has that method worked? From the beginning, when I was a kid, seeing what happened with Jim Baker and stuff like this, has it stopped? Has it worked in the standpoint of the method we done? Now, I don't know why the brother did it. I don't know if he did it with pure intentions. I don't know if he was doing it to try to promote himself or trying to get a soundbite or try to create this conversation that we have right now.
Right.
But what if this is God bringing open attention on the church because people have promised that they were going to stop doing stuff and didn't? I don't got no answers. I just got questions.
Oh, I understand. Because another statement that he made in the same podcast, he said, I had to come to realize that God ain't the church. So we're offended, and I'm using the term we very, very loosely. We're offended because of what he said about an institution and not about a deity. He didn't say God is whack. He said the church is whack. My question is it possible, to your point, is it possible that God could be saying, yeah, the church is whack?
I don't know if God talk like that, but
I know somebody gonna take that and they gonna finna be, it's okay. It'll give me followers. So
at the end of the day, we are the church. And I think it probably hurts so bad because it's not saying God is whack, it's saying we are whack. Because whether we did it or allowed it or ignored or didn't stand up for, we are still the church.
Understood.
So, like I said, I can't get into the brother's head. I don't know, but like I said, I have questions.
I got you. It was a good conversation. It's good. It's just good conversation. So I'm finna turn the corner. A few months ago, and we have not had this conversation. I've been wanting to have this conversation with you, but we have not had this conversation. So I'm excited about this, and I'm doing it on here. Hopefully, we'll still be friends after this. We talk. So a few months ago, there was this huge blow up. Wait, no, this is another one. Hold on. I'm gonna rewind. It's two more, and then I'm gonna get to the letter. Y'all, I do have a letter tonight. I don't know if Max is gonna chime in on the letter for me, but he used to say about me all the time. He say, "You busy, I just be doing stuff." But
Right.
now I'm doing stuff and he busy. So now that I got him, I'm gonna, you know, I can't keep him too long though, because I know he ready to go to bed because he go to sleep early and get up early. Praise the Lord. But swag surfing in the church
Swags. Yeah.
and walking that out in the church.
Mm-hmm.
What you think? I'm gonna bring the question in. I'm gonna bring the question in real simple.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make the question real simple. Did he go too far?
Another one of those subjects I really didn't look at a lot. I saw the clips.
Okay.
It's not my taste. You know, it's not what I feel comfortable with as when we start talking about the sanctity of God, using those particular songs to usher in something that we consider holy. So, but those are his parishioners. So the question is, does that church suit them? It wouldn't suit me. It's not a church I would want to take my family to for that. You know, I just felt like that wouldn't have been comfortable for me. But you know, we're in a time now that, you know, people make stuff that's comfortable for them. And you know, and it's easy for me to sit up here and say, well, oh, yeah, he went too far, or he shouldn't have done that. You know, I don't know the climate of that church. All I can say is not something I would feel comfortable with.
Okay.
And that's a slippery slope we get on, because a lot of times we're always trying to judge people based on what is comfortable for us. You know, because I come from the church where, you know, when I was growing up, women couldn't wear pants. You know, and I'll take it even further than that. They at one point they couldn't even wear sandals. They couldn't have their toes out.
Oh my.
We couldn't wear short pants, and we couldn't go to the fair, and we couldn't play basketball. You know, because they were saying this is holiness, and don't have your evil spoken of, and a woman shouldn't wear anything pertaining to a man. So we were comfortable with that at one point, and judged everybody else who did not.
Yeah.
So from our eyes, if we saw you in the grocery store and you had your toes out, you weren't saved. If you went to the theater to see one of my movies, you weren't saved.
Oh my.
You know what I'm saying? If you went to the fair where they gambling at, you were not saved. You know what I'm saying? If you listen to R&B music even at your house, you were not saved.
Oh my.
So we have to be careful. We have to be careful. It wouldn't have been comfortable for me. It's not something I would have wanted to participate in, but I don't know what his parishioners, you know, and really I think the focus is on the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? Our lives are so magical that if we really focus on us and aligning ourselves up with what God is, we really ain't got time to see all this other stuff.
Right.
Debating about it. Because if we were in alignment with what we're doing, like I say, both of these things you said, I'm like, man, I hadn't even seen this stuff.
Yeah.
When I stopped and scrolled on Facebook or had a conversation with you, because I'm too busy with the work, you know, that the Lord has given me.
Because you're busy.
Yeah, you know, and I'm like, if this is what we're spending our time debating on, we don't have to debate on whether they're right or wrong. We really need to be saying, we need to be focusing our energy on being the witness that we're supposed to be in the world, that people see our light. It should be that, wow, people are like, you know something, what Steph is doing so much, I ain't even really paying attention to what he's doing, because what he's doing is meaningful work. You know, because at the end of the day, what are we going to change talking about Ty Tribbett? What are we going to change talking about that pastor who decided to play the song in the church? What are we going to change?
Right. Right.
Except giving them more clicks and more views.
Very, very valid points. Now that is a Maxism, ladies and gentlemen. These are the conversations that I have with him, and I'm like, makes sense.
I mean, now if it's gonna make you some money, then go for it. But all it's doing is making folks stressed. All it's doing is perpetuating the thing that we really don't want.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, how many folk are taking those positive stories that we say we don't hear enough and talking about that?
And I know from a stretch and working in media, the mantra in media, which is very unfortunate, but the mantra in media is if it bleeds, it leads. Meaning negative or bad news always, number one, it gets reported first and it gets the lion's share of the reporting. And so then your positive, your special interest stories, we have to figure out how to get you in the last few minutes of the show.
Yeah. Drama is more entertaining.
And that is unfortunate because even like, even with things like podcasts, as I was researching starting this one, and I was like, well, I could do something controversial, and in the controversy, I get clicks. But a few years ago, I was doing things on Facebook, and I was saying things on Facebook, and I would always say, but I don't post for likes.
Mm.
I post, this is how I feel. This is my position. I'm not posting for likes. Whether you like it or not, and I think that's kind of where the Step Said It started. Because I would say something that would, I would say something like, stop letting people, what did I say? Stop letting people walk across your heart with dirty shoes. I don't post for likes. But it's like, you ain't finna leave dirty footprints on my heart. No, take your shoes off and wash your feet first.
Man, let me tell you something, bro. I was thinking about this whole Ty Tribbett thing. I remember when I remember being lied on. And people had done things publicly and privately to discredit my character, right? And I remember one of the people who believed the lie initially coming to me and say, you know something, I've been watching you. I've been watching how you've been living your life. The things that were said about you was a lie. And I know it was a lie because I've been watching how you've been living. We have to get back to the point that our character is louder than the lies. If these things are inappropriate and stuff like this, then let's live in such a way that they're not named among us. Are we gonna make mistakes? Of course we're gonna make mistakes, man. But we've gotten to the point that we're no longer human, that we can't come back and say we're sorry or come back this, because we live in a culture that is not interested in redemption. The culture is not interested in redemption. They're not interested in the truth.
Right.
They're not interested in the truth. They're interested in who's right. They're interested in who got the most attention when they tore something down or said something. The culture, we're talking about what's happening, but we got to not just talk about those incidents. We got to talk about the culture. Where's the love and reconciliation at?
Right.
And when we're having these debates, look at debates. When you go back and look through the debates are not saying, well, what's true. The debate is like, who said it and got the most likes? Who said it and was considered right? Who said it and talked over the person? We're not talking to listen for an understanding. We're waiting for our time so we can make our point. So sometimes I can't have a conversation about some of these things because we lack the depth to have the conversation in the first place and get to a solution.
Right.
We don't have empathy anymore. This is not about empathy. It's like, let me tear you down so I can feel better about myself.
Right. Whew. Yeah, that's good right there. I had to put your comment in. I'm gonna highlight my own comment. Let my character speak louder than the lies. I did give you credit for it.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
But you do know, after I say it 3 times and I give you the credit, after I acknowledge you 3 times.
I know how it goes.
Okay. All right. So you said, let my character speak louder than the lies. And that's Maximus Wright. Okay. Now, before the podcast is over, I'm going to say it one more time and then I'm going to put it on my page. But I gave you your credit 3 times. So it's mine.
You gave my credit 3 times. You did.
So you can't come for me. But listen. So listen, this has been great. This has been great.
Really?
I always, man, I always love conversations with you.
Oh,
Like this, because it's always good. It's always insightful. It's always challenging. And people like me, because I'll go all the way out in left field, and then you'll say something like, "Dude, like, what good is that doing having that conversation? Like, you could be working on this. You could be spending that energy working on this." You know what? You're right. And then I start working on Step Said It podcast. So,
I'm gonna say this, man, and this has blessed me. Like when people start talking about obstacles and they start talking about these things, I said obstacle as well as distractions are things you see when you take your eyes off your goal.
mhm.
If you're seeing all this other stuff and it got you round up, you're not focused on what you're supposed to be focused on because you're giving it too much free real estate in your head.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good. All right. So listen, uh, I have a letter.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the letter on the screen. I'm gonna give you the option whether or not you want to chime in or not.
Hmm.
If you want to hang out with your boy for about another 15 minutes, we can. Or if you like, look, bro, I'm tired. I had a long day.
Hmm.
Uh, hold on. I have to show this comment. So Kayla said, I don't like y'all yelling at me tonight.
We yelling at her.
Listen, I, we'll we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Oh, I think it's the character statement though.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that, and I'm not saying I know for me, it like that one did me. But
Mhm.
but here we go. So I'm gonna bring the letter on, and what this is a letter. I do have listeners who they submit letters every week about things that they want me to talk about,
Mhm.
and so this is this week's letter. It says, "Dear Steps Edit Podcast, I have a cousin whom I love dearly, and we've had a great relationship through the years until now. She is very moody and has a tendency of being mean spirited by lashing out at people, not just me at times. And I've started avoiding her over the past years or so. She's begun to notice the distance between us and has asked if we can have a conversation about it. Of course, I said yes, but I told her a few years ago and several times after that I was getting fed up with her unpredictable moods. She knows that I cut people off after a while, and even though she's blood, I feel like I've gotten to that point with her. I think I've forgotten. Nope, that's not what that says. It says I think I've forgiven her on the inside, but I don't want to be around her much because even though she's straightened up for a while, she's always reverted back to her default of being cruel. She's not as bad with me as she once was, but I've noticed the lashing out has transferred to others. And she acknowledged that she has terrible anxiety, which I have witnessed. I have asked her to talk with someone about it because I believe it contributes to the mood swings. I think I could be much more understanding if I knew there was a condition. I feel badly because she said, and I believe, that she misses being around me, but the mood swings are a lot to deal with without me lashing back out in return. It doesn't do anything to make our interactions more uncomfortable. It doesn't do anything but make our interactions more uncomfortable and frustrating, which I don't want. She's also very sensitive, and I don't want to say anything to hurt her feelings, but I don't know what else to do. Please tell me what you think. Sincerely, a podcast listener.
Mm. Mm. You know, my question to her would be, if would you allow your child to experience this and leave them in this person's presence? Would you?
Oh, you was asking me that
I
question?
was asking in general, but since you're here,
Oh, I guess I'm the only one in the room.
yeah.
Uh, so no, I wouldn't.
So the problem is this person doesn't love herself enough. Because if she loved her child, she shouldn't expose her child, shouldn't expose herself to anything she wouldn't allow her child to be in, because that inner person inside of her is being damaged. And I know what it's like not to have agency, and it just seems like you have no control of the people that's in your life.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important relationship you can have outside the one with God is a relationship with yourself.
Right.
And if you want to teach your children how to accept abuse, just let them watch you accept abuse in your life. And it ain't about what you say, it's about what they see you do.
That was good right there. That was good right there. Yeah, I'm gonna take that one too. If you want your children to learn how to accept abuse, just let them watch you take abuse.
Mhm.
Maximus Wright.
That's
Just
one.
one. So and this is my position. This is my position. I, for me personally, the one thing that is most important to me is I must protect my peace. I must protect my peace. And if the relationship has caused such a struggle that it interferes with my peace, blood or no blood, I have to make a decision for self-preservation. Blood or no blood, and that doesn't mean I throw you away. That doesn't mean I that doesn't mean I throw you away. Hold on, I got to show you this comment. I got to show you this. That's your boy right there. Right. But yeah, that doesn't mean I throw you away. But this is the other thing. And one of the things she mentioned in the letter, she said, I could handle it better if I knew it was a condition. So then if you feel like if you love this person the way you love them and you feel like it could possibly be a condition, then why not help get them help? If you feel like this is a mental crisis, if they're having an emotional crisis or a mental health crisis, then why not get them to some help?
Well, we don't know if they're willing. So let's talk about stuff that is in their control, because we can't control other people.
Okay.
We cannot control people. But I want to get away from some of the cliches as far as like protect my peace, and things that we've said, because sometimes that glosses over and people don't really understand. So let's make this a little more specific.
Mm-hmm.
When you get around people who take your peace, what is happening to your body? Stomach and knots.
Mm-hmm.
Tension in your body, headaches, all this stuff, the feeling of sick. So what you're doing in those moments, your body is retaliating against you because you're not protecting it.
Mm.
And it is giving you pain, because pain is an indicator that something needs to change.
Mm-hmm.
And once you continue to keep doing behavior to prove to your body that you're not going to protect it, your body starts to turn on you and not trust you anymore. That's where dis-ease comes from.
Oh, that's
That's
good.
where disease comes from. Because once stress is introduced to our cells, sometimes they activate these sicknesses and diseases in our body.
Yeah.
So we're talking about protecting our peace, and some people that's just a nebulous word, peace. But we're saying your very health, your very livelihood, your well-being is at stake. And when the body can't trust you, it's just like the immune system turning on itself. That's autoimmune deficiency, is when the immune system turns on the very person.
Right.
Those things come from stress, because now the body sees you as the enemy, because you wouldn't do what it took to protect yourself, because you worried about these people's feelings and thoughts and what they're doing, when you only have control over yourself. So let's take peace away and let's put that there.
Gotta protect my health.
Right.
Trying to stay alive.
Right.
That's good. So to the person who wrote the letter. I feel like they turned back on me for a hot second. I didn't write the letter. Now y'all see why I like talking to this man. It's 20 years.
20
20,
years.
20 no, 25?
Yeah, 25. Easy. 25.
Easy 25 years.
Easy 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So to the writer, to the person who wrote the letter, protect your health. And if you have children, set an example for your children that if I wouldn't leave you in a situation, then I'm not going to teach you how to live in a situation. Uh, if I feel like I wouldn't want you to deal with it, then I'm gonna get out of it. Because if nothing else, I'm teaching you how to manage you by the way I manage me. And so protect yourself. Protect yourself. Now I often say there's a reason why um, when you're on an airplane, they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first. There's a reason. If we lose cabin pressure and the mask fall down, I can see that you need help, but I need to put my mask on first because if I pass out in the process of trying to help you get your mask put on, we both die.
Mm.
So I need to make sure I'm solid before I try to get you to a place.
And not just the egg on this, but I had something very simple and someone had to open my eyes to this. Just imagine that the person that you're concerned about and how they treat you, if something happened to you and now they got to take care of your kids.
Mm-mm.
What?
Mm-mm. I don't want to imagine.
I mean, that's how we got to start thinking about stuff.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Okay, I'm gonna put her out here one more time because this is what she said. She said sometimes the best cure for folks like this is a knuckle sandwich or a therapy.
Let's go for the therapist if we can.
Let's go for the therapist. Otherwise, that's not what we want. That's not what we want. Man, listen, my time is up. Thank you, Maximus.
I have no idea. I have no idea if this was good or not. So I hope it did whatever you were trying to accomplish.
Listen, well, we had our conversation. So, was I able to glean something from it? Yes, absolutely. I was able to glean something from it. Was it a great conversation? It was good to me.
Well, good. Well, that's all that matters. If it was good to you, I'm trying to
me.
make sure I'm giving you what you were looking for because you said you wanted it to be a real conversation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know you write plays and you write books and you write movies and all of that. I didn't want you to script nothing.
Okay.
I did not want to be. I didn't want you to be a character.
Gotcha.
I wanted you to be Maximus. And as much as I say it, one thing I know that you've always been, even in your writing, you're always authentic.
Mm.
And you are always your authentic self.
I appreciate that.
Even in your writing, you are always your authentic self.
I appreciate that.
And so, hands down, I appreciate you. I can't say it enough. You a friend.
Yeah.
You a real friend.
Yeah.
And in those dark moments, you were like, no, hold on. Are you okay?
Right.
It's like, yeah, I know all that, and I know this, and I know we got this going on, and you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. Scratch that. Are you okay? And I think a lot of times for people are not always afforded the question, are you okay?
And that's the church.
Well, just rip the band-aid back off then.
That's the church.
It is. Something my dad used to say, and when we finna wrap it up, I'm finna turn my music on, I'm finna run these last couple of slides. But something my dad used to say, if the church is the hospital where people are supposed to come in to be healed, then why are we taking up all the beds? if this is the place, why are we always the ones who we're supposed to have the answer? We're supposed to have, the cure. Why are we always the ones in the bed? And so, yeah. So I just looked on IG, and someone asked the question. The question was, does Maximus have a service, place, and time? Because I'll be there.
You can catch me at Tupelo on the set of Badge Unbroken, April the 5th through the 7th. We'll be shooting the film, so you're more than welcome to come by.
And that's the other. And I'm sorry I did not, because I talked about all your other projects, but we did not mention Badge Unbroken. Right. Give me just 60 seconds. Talk about Badge Unbroken for me real quick.
Oh man, Badge Unbroken. In the words of Tania Stewart, this is the modern day In the Heat of the Night.
Oh my.
Yes. And it looks like she may play a role. We're trying to work it out.
Okay.
So yeah, so we got filming coming up in Jackson towards the end of next month. We'll be filming the first part in Tupelo. This is a story about a Black guy who was on his way to become the first chief of Tupelo, first Black police chief of Tupelo. Situation came up, and some powers that be did not want that to happen. And he got fired, he got charged, and he had never had any infraction in his 20-year career. He stood up to the police department about their unfair treatment of Black civilians. They were arresting Blacks and beating them and stuff like this. And he stood up and he called for corrupt cops to be taken off the force. And he lost his job and got charged. If we stop right there, we say, I've heard that story before. One, we've never heard of a cop taken up or going against the police, but we've never heard that story.
Right.
For him to be reprimanded and possibly lose his job, yeah, we were like, okay, that sounds about right. It's the next part that I've never heard of before. The white citizens of Tupelo came around him because they trusted his integrity so much and supported him and his family for over a year until they got the corrupt cops off the force and got him back on the force. I've never heard that story anywhere. And for it to be a story that happens in Mississippi.
And I was going to say, particularly not a Mississippi story.
This is a story that needs to be told, because this is the Mississippi that we need the world to see, because this is a true story. It happened, and it speaks against every stereotype that they have ever said about us. And it is something that we want to use as a training tool.
Yeah.
Other police forces to work with their community development and community outreach, so we can build better relationships with the police force, the Black community, and the community at large.
Man, listen, that is wonderful.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it off screen, but I want to have you back on the show specifically. Well, no. Of course, I want to have you back on the show, but I do want to bring you back on the show specifically to talk about Badge Unbroken, to help promote it. Although my platform is small, it's growing.
Oh, that's good.
I know, having worked on projects with you, it's all about grassroots.
It is.
And it's all about starting ground level. And I definitely want to have you and anyone else that, who would be willing to do it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we can bring the guy on, who's Robert Hall. It's about him. He would love to come on.
Would love to have him on the show. So let's connect after, we'll connect, maybe one day next week. Let's look at the schedule. Let's see what we can work out. And I would love to help promote that. So, I'm here for it.
Appreciate it.
I'm here for it. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up. Show some love to my friend, my guy, my mentor. Yep. I said it and I won't take it back. But my man, 50 grand, the Maximus Wright, as I prefer to call him, Maximilian. He is a film writer. He is an entrepreneur. The man is he is amazing. And so y'all come on, give it up. Show some love one more time for my man, Maximus Wright. been the Steph Said It podcast. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on the show. Listen, please take a moment and visit my website at www.stepsaidit.com. Funny story, Maximus Wright is the one that actually told me that I could design websites. I said, man, I can't do no website. Here it is. This is the Steph Said It website. Please take a moment, visit the website. You can go there, get information about what we're doing, what we've got coming up next. Also, if you would like to submit a letter to the Steph Said It podcast, you can do so on the website. Once you open it up, if you look right down in the bottom corner, there's a little bubble. You can click that. It takes you directly to the Contact Us page. Submit your letter. And if you want to remain anonymous in that you don't want me to know who you are, then just put a fake email address on there, and we'll be more than happy to talk about it. The downside with doing it that way is if you don't tell me who you are, then I won't be able to let you know when your show is going to air. That means you just got to listen to all the shows until your letter comes up. And I'm okay with that too. Also, please consider becoming a Steph Said It partner. We come in at 3 levels. Level 1 is $5. There you just get mentioned as a Steph Said It partner in the opening segment of the show. For $5, just 1 episode. $25, you get 2 episodes. You get a host-read commercial during a break in the podcast, and you also get mentioned. And then at level 3, $225, you get mentioned on 4 episodes, but we actually do a commercial. You get logo displayed on the website for 30 days. You get your logo displayed during the show. You get a commercial at the beginning and the end of the podcast, and you get mentioned during the segment. And then please like, follow, subscribe. I'm Steph Said It across all social media platforms. I'm Steph Said It on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and on Snapchat. I'm also on Twitter. Steph Said It across all platforms. So once again, guys, thank you so much for being a part of the show, for coming and hanging out with your boy for about an hour. This is my first official 1-hour show, and it has been good. Once again, I want to appreciate my guy, Maximus Wright. You can follow him. You can find him on Facebook, on Instagram at Maximus Wright. Please go and check out the Jackson Film Festival. It's if you've never experienced the film festival, this is definitely something that you want to be a part of. The Jackson Film Festival, once again, July 21st through the 26th. It's going to be at Tougaloo College, and the gala will be at the 2 museums, the 2 Mississippi museums, and you can follow them at thejacksonfilmfestival.com. Well, once again, this is the Steph Said It podcast. I am Steph Said It. Well, I'm Stephen B. And always remember, if anybody asks you where you get your information from, you know what to tell them. Steph Said It. We'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a good night.